evening. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the Mobile Roma Holocaust Exhibit made possible by the World Roma Federation in collaboration with the Center for Russian, East European, and Eurasian Studies here at the University of Texas at Austin. The Mobile Roma Holocaust Exhibit is a poignant journey into the resilience and struggles of the Roma community during one of the darkest periods in history, featuring a range of interactive and informative displays, including historical artifacts, photographs, and personal narratives. This exhibit aims to shed light on a chapter often overlooked, bringing to light the stories of Roma resilience, struggle, and spirit. Today, we will first hear from Romani activists and scholars, including Sara, Apostol, and Denny Dobrov, the Deputy Director and the Director of International Relations of the World Roma Federation, about the shackles of systematic oppression that has overshadowed the Romani community for a millennium. Afterwards, we will have the opportunity to view a short documentary video that was put together by the World Roma Federation and have ample time to explore the exhibit. For the full experience, it is recommended and encouraged that you utilize the QR codes found on the banners in the exhibit that you can see out there. Again, thank you so much for joining us. So first, we will hear from two of these important Romani activists and scholars who were unable to actually be with us in person, so they have pre-recorded videos for us. And first up, we will hear from Jamie Stoika, who is the president of the World Roma Federation. And following that video, we will then hear from the Director of International Relations, Denny Dobrov. And give me 1 second here while I queue up these videos. Here is Jamie Stoika.
Message is on behalf of our organization's president, Janusz Stoika, who could not be here today and has lost his voice due to a virus going around. His message says, and I quote, "Honored guests, dear friends and supporters, it is with great joy that I welcome you here today to this momentous event where we solemnly commemorate the victims of the Roma Holocaust. This year is particularly significant as it marks the 80th anniversary of that dark period when thousands of Roma suffered horrendous fates in concentration camps across Europe. Remembering these tragic historical events is not just about recalling the past, it is an active commitment to educating future generations about the consequences of trampling human dignity. This year is especially momentous for us as we began our global commemoration in January in New York with the opening of a mobile exhibition organized by the World Roma Federation. This exhibition serves not only as a means of remembrance, but also as a platform for education and awareness, allowing visitors from around the world to learn about this dark chapter in our history. Despite the horrors of the Holocaust, the Roma community has survived, and we stand here today as witnesses to history and bearers of our culture. We observe International Roma Holocaust Memorial Day on August 2nd each year, the day to remember those who lost their lives in the concentration camps. On this day, it is particularly important to recall the fate of those people who were specifically targeted for extermination by the Nazi regime and whose memories we must preserve. To this day, we feel the impact of the stigma that has marked the Roma since then, and the discrimination that remains in all forms in the lives of Roma communities worldwide reminds us that our fight for rights and recognition is far from over. The new generation of Roma intellectuals, to which I proudly belong, is committed to ensuring that the atrocities of the Holocaust are never repeated. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, established by the United Nations in 1945 in response to the horrors of World War II, set clear guidelines for prohibiting all forms of racial discrimination and destruction against people. It reminds us that by learning from history, we can shape the future together, rejecting discrimination and promoting equality and respect for all human beings. I would especially like to thank Sara Apostol, who as our Deputy Director has played a significant role in amplifying the voice of the Roma on international platforms. Thank you for being here with us today and for sharing in our memory and our struggle. Respectfully, Janusz Stoika, Founder and President, World Roma Federation.
Honored guests, esteemed colleagues, and dedicated supporters. As the Director of International Relations for the World Roma Federation, it is with profound respect and heartfelt gratitude that I address you today at this significant gathering hosted by the University of Texas and Austin. And I extend a special thank you to our esteemed colleagues, Sara, Apostol, for her unwavering support and commitment to our cause, and to the university for providing a platform for our voices. Today, we stand united not only to remember the harrowing experiences of the Roma during the Holocaust, but also to reaffirm our commitment to educate and inform the public and academic communities about the impact of these historical atrocities on our people. This year is particularly monumental as we mark key anniversaries that remind us of our resilience and the critical need for a collective memory. Our mission extends beyond remembrance. It is an active pursuit to incorporate Roma history and rights into educational curricula, especially in colleges and universities where the future leaders of our world are shaped. It is crucial that they learn about the depths of human cruelty as well as the boundless capacity for recovery and dignity, which our community embodies. I would also like to take this moment to honor the legacy of one of my mentors, Professor Ian Hancock, whose guidance in my early days of activism helped forge the path I walk today. His dedication to our cause has been a beacon of inspiration and enduring legacy in our fight for justice. The World Roma Federation continues this educational journey through initiatives like the mobile exhibition we launched in New York earlier this year. This project not only serves as a tribute to our past, but as a vital educational tool that travels across continents, spreading knowledge and fostering understanding. As we observe the anniversaries and milestones, let us renew our dedication to combating discrimination and promoting equality. Let's strive together to ensure that these atrocities of the past are never repeated and that the Roma and all marginalized communities are recognized and respected. Thank you for joining us in this important commemoration and for your continued support in our ongoing struggle for justice and equality. To the Roma I say, may all Roma find peace and fortune everywhere in unity with the non-Roma. Thank you.
Now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming UT's own Sara Apostol, whom you heard both these gentlemen previously mention, as she is the Deputy Director of the World Roma Federation and founder of the Balkan Student Union here at UT, and she's just an overall amazing person, and do keep in mind she is still a student and accomplishing so much, so we are all super proud of her, and please welcome Sara.
Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for making the time to join us at such an important event. And we're all here to work towards bringing recognition to the atrocities of the past and working towards a better future for our people. As we are getting started here, okay, I will ask our crowd just to make sure. Can we see the projector well, or do you want us to turn off the lights? Is this well enough?
It's fine.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. As it was mentioned before, my name is Sara Apostol, and I'm an honor student here at the University of Texas at Austin, as well as the Deputy Director of the World Roma Federation. As we are getting started, by a show of hands, how many people have heard the term gypsy before they became familiarized with the term Romani? Well, that is quite the majority. Wouldn't you guys say the same? Well, throughout time, people have been exposed to different portrayals of the gypsy. From the animated depiction of Esmeralda in Walt Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, to numerous international songs by mainstream artists promoting the bohemian and free-spirited way of transiting through life like a gypsy. There are numerous illustrations of the gypsy on this never-ending spectrum. However, most of them are inaccurate portrayals that find their genesis in preconditioned societal prejudice, as well as an inaccurate and altered historical, scientific, and sociological hypotheses. It is only on a limited portion of the spectrum that one finds the depiction of Roma, the actual people with their distinct and authentic history, language, and culture. The Romanis, to whom the racial slur gypsy has been applied, represent a people that have contended with persecution ever since their arrival in the West. Originating at their migration from northwestern India around the year 1000 AD as a result of the Ghaznavid invasions, the Romanis are known as the largest minority population in all of Europe. According to national public opinion polls, they are the most discriminated against socially and racially defined demographic, even in the United States. As a Romani activist from Romania, I have made it my moral duty to advocate for my people both academically and politically in order to bring recognition to the atrocities of the past and aspire to objectives for the future. Philosopher George Santayana wrote that those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. That is why we are gathered here today, to discuss and acknowledge the persecution of the Romanis in the context of the Holocaust, while also commemorating our resistance throughout history, leading to the contemporary strive for social reform. If one is to conduct a social experiment in which people across the room are asked to share the first word that springs to their mind when they think of the Holocaust, most would reasonably answer with adjectives such as terrorizing, cruel, inhumane, and many other terms that could somewhat attempt to fully describe the atrocities that occurred during the Nazi era of the 1930s and 1940s. However, if a Roma person is to be asked to participate in allocating a descriptive label to this historical genocide, they would refer to the Holocaust as the Baro Porainos, attaching a profound and perspicacious connotation to the experience of the state-sponsored systematic killings that have occurred. In Romanes, which that is the Romani language, the translation of the label Baro Porainos roughly conveys the message of the great devouring of human life, a phrase well chosen for the most appalling event in our history. When the Nazi regime came to power in 1933, German laws against our people have already been in effect for hundreds of years. Having a different physical appearance from the standard white European complexity, as well as having different values and customs, the Romanis encountered many difficulties in itiblishing their roots in any given place. Historian Doris Burgeon writes that, whether from habit or because of coercion, many Roma were itinerant, and their mobile lifestyle further roused antagonism of others. The rest of European societies labeled them as thieves and tricksters, who used their musical abilities and physical charms to lure the unsuspecting to their ruin. As a result of these social stereotypes, people started to conclude that Romanis were inherently prone to danger and criminality, and that communities could diminish criminal activity by preventing them from settling and from bearing children. Social scientists, medical specialists, and criminologists tended to regard Roma as if they were some kind of disease, as evident references to the gypsy plague. Many conferences have taken place to justify our biological inferiority and genetic impurity, factors that have led to strengthening the eugenics philosophy and the need to exterminate Romani individuals supposedly doomed to contaminate the superior and desired Aryan race. This foreshadowed the prelude of the destruction and torture of the Romanis in the Holocaust. 10 days after the Nazis came to power in 1933, government officials demanded the withdrawal of civil rights from people of Romani descent. In 1938, official artifacts show that Heinrich Himmler issued the first reference to the final solution of the gypsy question. It stated that the gypsy issue is a prevalent one that should be dealt with as a matter of race in order to protect the German blood. In 1939, Johannes Burden issued a declaration that all gypsies should be treated as hereditarily sick, the only solution being elimination. In 1940, the Romanis became victims of the state-sponsored killing camps. They faced horrendous persecution, gross dehumanization, stripping individuals of any seed of self-identity and hope. Historians estimate that the Germans and their allies killed at least 250,000 European Roma during the Second World War. Scholars estimate that the full death toll may well reach around 500,000 Romani. You might wonder why it is essential to be aware of such history. Well, the world seems to have forgotten its history, continually subjecting Romani to discrimination and marginalization in different countries within Europe and the Americas. Despite official declarations and pardons from state officials and international alliances for the mistreatment of Romanis, a fusion of formal and informal aversions towards us have still remained prevalent issues that have caused the Romanis to hesitate in terms of being active members of the communities we live in. Over the course of many decades, we have let others decide how the world views us rather than conducting that narrative ourselves in realms such as politics, law, medicine, academics, thus impacting every aspect of the Romani quality of life. Taking into consideration that we lack representation in different social realms that require a strong foundational education, we have been stripped of the opportunity to come together in large numbers and conduct professional discourses on behalf of our people. In a century that achieves progress through diplomacy and activism, it is our moral duty to understand how we have found ourselves in such a disadvantageous position and to work towards a better future for our worldwide communities. In today's society, where the power of the pen is placed above all else, activism on behalf of one's people must be conducted accordingly. Opportunities to come together with state officials and academics and make our voices heard are therefore vital, not just for the acknowledgement of our history and the current status quo, but to also bring awareness to the immediate need for action. For too long, our voices have been stifled and our cause disregarded. Recognition is the first stone that paves the path towards progress. Romani scholars such as myself and others before me have been able, through exposure to academic settings, to further recognize our people's struggles and engage in proper advocacy with the scope of creating better opportunities in different countries. However, it has not been enough. To honor the lives of the Romanis that have been persecuted and mistreated, we must all come together and find a deeply rooted driving force. I ask you to join our cause, taking a step towards the right direction, mending the wrongs of the past that still follow us into today's society. We have been subjective to narratives associated with us, but not representative of us for centuries. The Romani spirit is a spirit of strength and survival. And as a people, we are taking back our identity from the mainstream songs and stories, moving forward with education and determination as our banner. Let our children be stripped of fear and hostility, and let them pay their moral due to our people by proving the status quo wrong. We are smart, we are strong, and we have the potential. We owe it to our ancestors that have died, survived, and resisted for over a millennium. Let us get together and show that their sacrifices have not been in vain. Thank you. Before we go on to the documentary, which will be the last video production of today, are there any questions that you might like me to address? Or if people are more comfortable having this conversation after everything is over, I'm glad to do that as well. Yes, ma'am.
You said that there is a difference in statistics between 250 and 500,000
Yes.
lives lost. How do we explain that? What is the discrepancy?
It is a result of a lot of artifacts that have been lost and some of them never registered. So that has created a problem amongst historians, and that is why different people have different estimates. Therefore, some say it's about 250,000, but others it up to 500,000 victims of Romani descent during World War II. Yes?
So I'm familiar with Nuremberg race laws, which largely some of these laws that discriminate against the Romani people as well as a great other number of ethnicities. Where did you see a lot of these laws being created? What time period? And would you say every European country has at least some law talking about this type of discrimination?
It started roughly around the time that the Romanis migrated to Europe. That was around the year 1000 after Christ, and of course it was quite a weird phenomenon for Europeans that magically saw some people get into their own living places, and people started to theorize a lot about them because they didn't look the same and they had different complexions. First of all, the reason why we have the term gypsy is because people thought they were Egyptians, and that has been proven to be wrong. It still remains a racial slur in today's day, however, it is completely and historically inaccurate, but for some reason we're still using that term. And yes, as I was saying, because of the fact that they were divergent to the rest of their society, a lot of people started theorizing that, oh, they must be inferior to us. For example, in Romania, up until the 1800s, the enslavement of Romani individuals went on for 500 years. That is why even today, a good majority of Romani people is located in Romania because many have remained there even after enslavement. So to answer your question shortly, some sort of aversion towards them have been prevalent from their arrival in the West. However, academics started writing more about it within the eugenics philosophy around from the 1700s up until everything that happened during the Holocaust.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, if that is all, let's go ahead and play our documentary, and then everyone can have time to explore the exhibit that has been set up for everyone outside.
Today, we embark on a captivating journey through time to explore the intricate history and indomitable spirit of the Roma people. Often referred to as gypsies, the Roma possess a unique and vibrant culture, with a history as colourful as it is marked by adversity. Through the ages, they have navigated a path filled with the heavy burdens of slavery, prejudice, and oppression. Their temporal voyage is a profound testament to their unwavering resilience in the face of daunting challenges. The origins of their suffering trace back to the Middle Ages, a dark period when they were subjected to centuries of enslavement in Eastern Europe. This oppressive servitude persisted for hundreds of years, condemning them to a life defined by hardship and injustice. Even though slavery was officially ended in many European countries during the mid-19th century, this significant change didn't put an end to the ongoing hardships faced by the Roma. Discrimination continued, pushing the Roma to the fringes of society and keeping them economically disadvantaged. As we examine historical footage from the early 1900s, it becomes quite clear that their living conditions improved only slightly, mainly in terms of their clothing. As the 20th century began, a dark period unfolded with the rise of Nazi Germany. The persecution of the Roma people, which reached its most horrifying point during the Holocaust, was fueled by long-standing prejudice and hatred that had persisted for centuries. Today, we delve into this compelling story, taking a journey through history to uncover the truths of the past and the valuable lessons it offers for our present and future. Before the threatening shadow of combat fell upon Europe, the Roma people experienced a complex and diverse existence, far removed from the whimsically romanticized singing and dancing gypsy depiction often propagated. Their historical narrative was punctuated by struggle and resilience. It was not just a symphony of music and dance. Their connection to the land was profound and rooted, yet their existence was far from tranquil, marked by challenges and adversity often overlooked or dismissed. But as the 30s waned, this way of life faced an imminent threat with the ascendancy of Nazi Germany. The rise of the Nazi regime brought about a wave of systematic discrimination and vilification against the Roma people. They were singled out, both officially and unofficially, as a target for prejudice, persecution, and marginalization. Pseudoscience played a pivotal role in this process, relegating the Roma to a dehumanized status and painting them as a menace, a disease to the Aryan society. The settlement of Romanis across Europe was maliciously referred to as the Gypsy Plague, a term that fueled fear and prejudice and provided a warped justification for the regime's heinous acts. The Nazi regime reacted to the so-called Gypsy Plague by implementing state-sponsored discrimination, zeroing in on the annihilation of the Romani race. The aim was a macabre form of ethnic cleansing, a perverse pursuit of an ideal world characterized by the dominance of pure superior Aryan genes. The complex and diverse culture that had once found strength and resilience was now battling for its very survival, caught in the crosshairs of a brutal, hate-driven campaign. As Hitler's regime cast its dark shadow over Europe, both the Roma and the Jewish communities were engulfed in the storm of Nazi persecution. The vibrant tapestry of Roma life, rich in color and culture, began to unravel under the weight of Nazi oppression. Under the strict racial doctrines of the Nazis, the Roma, much like the Jews, were systematically classified as racially inferior. This labeling not only stripped them of their fundamental rights, but also perverted their rich cultural heritage into a pretext for eradication. While the term final solution has predominantly been associated with the Jewish Holocaust, historical records reveal that Nazi policies were also decisively aimed at the complete elimination of the Roma people. Their homes, their means of living, their very standing in society were all harshly taken away. The laws which once protected them were now used against them, and their cries of dissent were muffled by a surge of zealotry and abhorrence. Their world was turned upside down, and a palpable sense of doom permeated the atmosphere. This marked the start of an unfathomable ordeal. During the Holocaust, thousands of Roma were uprooted and deported to concentration camps. Stripped of their freedom, they were thrust into a nightmarish world, where the only certainty was uncertainty. Within the confines of these camps, the Roma endured the depths of human cruelty. They were forced into grueling labor, their bodies pushed to the brink of exhaustion under the relentless watch of their captors. But the horrors didn't stop at physical labor. The Roma were subjected to brutal medical experiments, their bodies considered nothing more than vessels for inhumane scientific curiosity. And always looming was the specter of mass executions, a chilling reminder of the deathly fate they could meet at any moment. Amidst this bleak reality, the Roma clung to hope and resilience. Stripped of their rights, they held on to the one thing that couldn't be taken, their will to survive. Each day was a battle for survival in the most harrowing conditions. In the depths of human cruelty, the indomitable spirit of the Roma shone through. Amid the Holocaust, their endurance manifested in extraordinary ways. The Nazis aimed to destroy their identity, but the Roma reacted with a quiet, potent resistance, tightly clutching their rich culture. Their music, language, and customs remained a light of hope against the enveloping gloom. Their tenacity extended beyond quiet defiance. Some dared to rise against their captors, bravely risking all. In the face of unparalleled trials, they made the choice to resist, their deeds reflecting the relentless human spirit. Often overlooked, these narratives form a key part of our collective history. Even in the direst circumstances, they fostered a spark of hope, envisaging a future where their spirit could once again be free. These stories, while often overlooked, are a crucial part of our shared history. Amidst the darkness, they nurtured a glimmer of hope, dreaming of a future where their spirit could once again be free. The war's end did not immediately erase the scars of the Roma people. They were left to grapple with the remnants of a shattered past, their lives irrevocably marked by the horrors they had endured. As Europe began to rebuild, the Roma faced their own uphill battle, the struggle for recognition. Suffering, long cloaked in the shadows of history, was often overlooked. Yet they persevered, their voices gradually rising above the din of silence. It was a long, painstaking journey, fraught with challenges, but it was a journey they were determined to undertake. It did not come easily. It took time, persistence, and an unwavering resilience to bring their story into the light. Memorials began to dot the landscape, silent reminders of a past that must never be forgotten. The journey to recognition was arduous, but it laid bare a crucial chapter of history, teaching us the value of tolerance, understanding, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. In 1971, a significant moment arrived in the ongoing struggle for recognition. Leaders, activists, and representatives from Roma communities around the world gathered in London for the historic First World Romani Congress. This Congress marked a turning point, a united voice demanding acknowledgement, justice, and equality. It was a bold declaration that the Roma people would no longer remain in the shadows of history. In modern days, the World Roma Federation continues this legacy of activism and unity. They have convened the modern day's largest Congress, which was the 13th in 2017, bringing together a global community committed to the cause. The 2017 World Roma Federation Congress was convened with a clear purpose: to address the pressing issues facing Roma communities worldwide. It brought together over 150 prominent Roma leaders spanning 25 diverse countries, making it a momentous gathering of unprecedented scale. At this historic event, the delegates engaged in impassioned discussions, sharing insights, strategies, and resolutions aimed at advancing the well-being and future prospects of the Roma people. President János Stoica, the esteemed founder of the World Roma Federation, played a pivotal role in this Congress. He emphasized the importance of international partnerships, raising global awareness, and fostering unity within the Roma community. The 2017 Congress holds immense significance in today's Roma rights movement. It continues to serve as a catalyst for change, driving efforts to uplift the Roma community, secure their fundamental rights, and promote global understanding. The path to recognition is ongoing, but the Roma community's determination, resilience, and activism shine as a beacon of hope, inspiring us all to stand with them in solidarity as they continue their journey toward equality and justice. As we pay tribute to the past, we also strive to educate and enlighten. While the Roma have endured the unimaginable and contributed to our shared history, their journey is far from over. Today, they continue to face numerous challenges that demand our attention and support. Poverty remains a persistent struggle, with many Roma living in overcrowded settlements without access to basic amenities. Educational opportunities are often limited, denying Roma children the chance to break free from the cycle of poverty. Discrimination remains an unfortunate reality for the Roma community. Across Europe, they encounter prejudice, unequal access to education, employment and healthcare, and housing disparities. This discrimination perpetuates a cycle of poverty that many Roma families find themselves trapped in. However, amidst these challenges, the World Roma Federation has been working tirelessly to improve their communities' lives. They advocate for equal rights, access to education, and an end to discrimination. Their determination echoes the resilience of their ancestors who persevered through the darkest times. Amidst the darkness, the indomitable spirit of the Roma shines through. Their vibrant music, dance, and traditions are a testament to their unwavering resilience. They continue to enrich Europe's cultural tapestry, reminding us that their heritage endures despite the trials they've faced. As we shift our focus to solidarity and support, remember that today, as we recall the past, we must also stand in solidarity with the Roma community. It's not just about acknowledging their history, but actively working to ensure a better future.